Hello, I'm Anthony Gismondi, and we're following a year in the life of a BC wine grower. Each season we look in on 4 wine growers around the province to experience some of the typical seasonal tasks and learn why and when they are done. The final stop in our summer series is on the Black Sage Bench in BC's hottest sub-region in the South Okanagan. There are few people better to ask about Veraison when grapes finally change color than winemaker Ross Weiss, who is one of a small group of masters of wine. He also shares some knowledgeable thoughts about Veraison's relationship to the ever-increasing concern of smoke taint.
So the state of Raisin in the South Okanagan, as you can see here, we're just getting started in our Syrah blocks. It's probably one of the more advanced we've got down here at the moment. And I'd say we're at about 50% Veraison. We've got some bunches showing good colour here. A little bit of greener stuff as well. So yeah, I'd say we're about halfway through Veraison for Syrah, and the Cabernet varieties and Merlot, they're just getting started now. It's really our last chance to alter things like crop load and fruit thinning, and maybe one final leaf pluck as well. After Veraison, it's really hands off the vines. So at this stage we're looking for any bunches that are perhaps really green and far behind that just won't get ripe this year. We're looking at areas to make sure the crop level looks okay. If there's any secondaries, we'll take them off. If there's a bit that's a little bit too heavy, maybe we thin off the greener bunches or take a shoulder or a wing off just to create a bit more space in the canopy. So fruit thinning's a big part of it, and looking for greener bunches as well. And if there's any leaves on the inside of the canopy that maybe are shading some fruit, we might look at taking them out as well, just to get a bit more sunlight through to the fruit.
Is there a myth about once Veraison starts that you know when the harvest will be, or how is that calculated?
Yeah, I'd say that's a myth. I think anyone that says they can tell when harvest is coming about a week before harvest obviously doesn't watch the weather forecast, because that's the big thing for us, is the weather dictates harvest to a certain extent. Obviously we're looking for certain things like ripeness, acidity levels, sugar levels, flavour and seed colour development, but that takes time, and the weather has a big impact on how those things develop.
If you were a grape, what's happened in your life now at Veraison?
In the life stage of a grape, or the life cycle of a grape, this is where the cells stop expanding. So they've gone through cell division earlier on during the season, then they've expanded to their current size, and now that stops. So this is really the vine shifts its focus from growing leaves to ripening fruit. So that's what's really going on with the berries at the moment. Suddenly they will start to see a lot more sugar coming into the berry. The sugar concentration will increase. The acidity levels, it changes from being very malic acid dominant. The malic acid actually degrades and it becomes tartaric acid in the berry. And you also, obviously, you start seeing colour in the vines as well. So that's when the anthocyanins start to come into the berry. That's the colour pigment and other phenolic compounds as well. So yeah, it's really changing from growth to ripening at this stage.
I think wildfires are a way of life now in British Columbia. So could you tell us a little bit about Veraison and smoke, and if there's any sort of connection between the two?
Yeah, so smoke taint and Veraison, there are certain concerns around the timing of both of those things. I think once the grapes start softening at Veraison and they get that elasticity, that's when they're a little bit more prone to the smoke taint. So it's normally for about a week after Veraison, about 7 days after Veraison, that they're at the most susceptible for smoke. So the Syrah we've got at the moment, it's a reasonably clear day here, so today wouldn't be of concern. But if we had more concentration of smoke, that's when we start to get a little bit more concerned about smoke taint being absorbed by the grapes.
It's another busy season amongst BC wine growers, but where summer's a lot of busy work, fall in the coming harvest will be an intense series of marathon days with little sleep. Join us for the fall series this October on Gismondi on Wine as we continue our insider's look at a year in the life of BC wine growers.